Hey everybody. It is a cold Monday morning. We are talking about below 20 Fahrenheit. Below freezing, for sure. Just a nice drive though. Listening to this music. I watched, this is unrelated, but I watched Avengers Endgame yesterday because I set a goal of a few years ago to watch everything Marvel since I'd missed so much of it. I really only watched a couple of movies here or there and almost none of the shows up until that point. So I went, well, I'm done with all of Star Wars. Let's do all of Marvel. So Avengers Endgame was yesterday, which was a very fun 3 hours. I have not seen it since that one and only time in the theater. Excellent. And then I was sorting some magic cards and I put on music and I went, I wonder if, and yes, the answer was yes, there is a mixtape of like Peter Quill's music that he listens to, because of course he's just got music from the 70s, 80s, something like that. He was born in the 80s and then would have been a parent, so it's a mix. It's nice. I don't know. I was just listening to it yesterday and then that's what came on in the car this morning and that was nice. So that's been how I started my day. Played a little bit of Witcher in the morning and then got all bundled up for how cold it is and came out and did a nice drive out here to the mountains. We did get a good bit of snow on the ground right now. Storm blew through yesterday and it dropped the temperatures considerably. It was extremely windy, which was actually surprising. When we were out getting groceries, I saw a Kestrel. And for as windy as it was, I was like, yeah, I guess it's kind of gliding along and the wind is not as strong as it was a few minutes ago, but like, I'd figure anything that the Kestrel would be looking for to hunt would be pretty well hunkered down, as would the Kestrel itself, I would imagine, but I guess not. Either way, and anyway, back out to the same spot that we've been coming to for the Mountain Bluebirds. They have been spotted as recently as 2 days ago here, so they should be sticking around, it seems like it, and especially given the snowstorm that blew through, I imagine they're not trying to go anywhere and certainly not further up the mountains yet. So I'm hoping that we will get Mountain Bluebirds. We'll see. I also talked about the last times. This has changed, but I haven't gotten it yet. I just ordered it last week, 2 days ago. When I went out, I saw someone at the meetup who had something that I'd not seen or considered because I just kind of stick in my own, like, once I've got my stuff, that's all I need. Try not to look and go, ooh, because that'll just make me want to spend money. But I did, because it had a kind of harness similar to what I have. I've got the one that goes over my shoulder and sling, and then I just carry the camera, and I have two, one for two cameras and one for just one camera, but they're both swinging by my hips. Like, the cameras are just free swinging there, and that's fine. It's not the most ideal. I will bump into someone with the camera occasionally, especially in small spaces and things like that, and it is swinging, but it works for bringing it up and everything. There goes one of my gloves that I had on my lap. So it's fine. But I was looking into it because he had a camera sling, and it was a lighter camera, so I had to make sure I got one that would support mine, but then it also had a spot for binoculars separately. And now that I'm bringing binoculars and just wearing them around my neck all the time, that works just fine. I like them being there, but I looked into it and I looked around at a bunch of different options, and some of them were a lot cheaper, and I went, okay, that could work, and things like that. And then I looked at, whenever I go, okay, so that's the cheaper option. What's something if I wanted to spend a bit more? Well, if I wanted to spend a bit more and when I want to get something that's a bit more higher rated and used by, the top tier, stuff like that. I don't know if that's necessarily the way to explain it. But anyway, the higher end of something like that is, I go to B&H and I look at what's reviewed and something like that. And that's where I wound up ordering it from, which is a vest system, like a full-on vest that has a spot for binoculars with a little attachment so that they go on. And I think from what I was looking at, I think they'll kind of screw on, or not screw on, but they'll it's like a quick release. They'll release them that way. Same thing for the camera down at the side. Now that one just holds two because they didn't have one that would do the binoculars and come with the attachment for the binocular and the camera and another camera. But I already have one that I can attach to the other camera. I bought one a while ago. A lot cloudier than I thought it was going to be. I hope the light stays well, and I hope we see Mountain Bluebirds. But anyway, I was looking at that. The last time I used that, the belt system to carry it, where it just attaches to the tripod slot on the bottom of the camera, and then it's got a quick release for it. I haven't used that in many years, all the way back from before I was ever recording video at all. And that is because I was carrying my camera around. I remember it very distinctly, one of the few times I went out with my sister because we were visiting my dad, and I went, hey, I'm gonna go do this. You wanna go? It's like, yeah, we'll just go walk around and look for birds. And I was walking around and I was taking the camera in and out, and the quick release system has a little locking. You take it and you twist it and it locks, and then you can't press it down, or when you don't, and then you can press it down, right? It would do better if I had it with me, but I don't, to show you. But I could just tell you, I was wearing it on my belt, and I was much heavier than I am now. I am working on losing weight, and the fat just rolled right over and pressed the button, and the camera fell, is what I was saying. Thankfully, it was my 70-200 lens, which is expensive. It's back when I was using a Canon camera. The camera got all scratched up, but it was fine, never stopped functioning. The lens itself, also fine. Thankfully, I had the lens hood on it, which basically saved it. So it scuffed it up real bad, but it's fine. And that was the last time I was like, well, I guess I can't use this anymore. And I think that was just the end of it. I don't think I ever tried to use it again. But I'm bringing it back out because now I don't have as much fat that will roll over. I'll make sure that I keep it locked. I've learned my lesson, and I won't put the really big lens or anything on that. I'll have that on the other hip that is more secured. And I think that's going to do it, because we just hit the washboard part of this drive right here, and it is bumpy. So hopefully Mountain Bluebirds. Also, I'm going to try the other trail. When I came here before, I started down one, and I looked at the sign and everything, and there were just a lot of people with dogs, so I went a different way. And then I went back and talked to the person who told me about this place, and we didn't remember the name of the trail exactly, but said the one that goes south. And I thought, and then said the name of the trail, and the sign over there. I'm very confused now, because I definitely went on one trail that said the name of that trail. But then I looked on Google Maps, and it said that trail is the one that goes south. And that it was a different name trail over there. But the sign here said, so like Google Maps to the signs on the location are different, which I would trust the signs on the location more so. But then the name that she said was the one that goes south. And she did say the one that goes south. So I don't know. There's a lot of trees along there. This makes sense. And all I know is that they've said the pine tree on the hill. So that's what I'm really looking for, is pine trees on a hill, because you can't get very close to it with the fence. Those are the locations I know to look for Mountain Bluebirds. That's what I'm going to be looking for. Which direction here? I don't know. I'll try going south, and we'll see what that's like.
See, now, I am here, and this is sage as well. That's what I didn't realize. This is where I've done before, but this is sage, and it goes south. And there are trees here. And that's this way. Yep, okay. Wait, that's a pine tree on a hill. That's gotta be it. No. There's a hawk in the tree right there. Nope, right there. There was a second hawk in this tree right there. I got it just as it was taking off, and I could tell it's the same red-tailed hawk I probably saw last time I was here, because I could see that very clear. Well, the tail is red. But this one here, I don't know. He's just kind of hanging out right there. Probably because it's cold. I'll have to look and see. Probably another red-tailed hawk with two of them so close together, but there's a lot of morphs. I'll check my phone, see if I can come up with an answer while I'm out here, but probably I'll check the book when we get back to the car. There's a bluebird. There's a mountain bluebird in that tree. Right there. There's no light. We are fully sun behind a thick cloud. I can't, the pictures I'm getting are so dark. It is full silhouette no matter what, but I need enough light to hit it. I don't think it's going anywhere. It's rather puffed up because it's so cold. I may have seen a second one flying overhead, but I feel like that one, I looked through the binoculars and it was maybe a little bit of orange. That's for sure a mountain bluebird. We've seen one. Now I just need to get a shot, and I'm just waiting. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going to keep going. There may be more. I'm not going anywhere until the light comes out. Without a doubt, a good number of mountain bluebirds. I think I know what they sound like. I'm going to have to come back and record the audio because it's this kind of wavering. I got to listen to make sure because I'm not using Merlin. My hands are full to double check, but I saw multiple. I'm talking about like 20 so far today. I think these are still starlings in the tree right here. Yes, they're all doing the exact same thing. They're all hanging out in these trees right here for a bit, and then they all go the same direction. So usually once one takes off, all the other ones around it, you'll get 5, 6 at a time, and they're all going that way. The exact same direction. They're all headed towards those trees way off in the distance on the foothills, I guess. The pine trees way over there. So maybe they sleep here, and then as soon as the sun's up, that one I was watching that was perched on that branch, the second the sun came out in force, it went, okay, I'm going, before I could get a shot or anything. So we played a little dance. I've been dancing around here in the trees for probably 20, 30 minutes trying to get a shot, but there are so many branches in the way. It's really difficult. I don't know if I've gotten one yet. I'm hoping. I'm going to stay here and just keep hoping. There seems to be more coming, from further down with all the trees. I just don't know where they're going that way that I could go see them more. But yeah, they seem to be here for sure. Without a doubt, I have seen the mountain bluebird. I can put it on the list. First of this year. I just need to get a really good shot of one, and the light is not cooperating. We'll see. It might come out. There's a lot of clouds. I definitely have gotten a couple blurry photos, a couple silhouetted photos. That's something. There's another one. It's another 5 or 6 of them. They're still coming. There's still a chance. Come on, sunlight. Now there's some good light, but no bluebirds. That may have been all of them. I'm gonna have to figure out if any of the trails go that way. I also could come back at night and be here by the sunset if they come down. I don't know if that's an every night thing or just because of the weather. Because boy, like yesterday, the winds were above 40 miles an hour with gusts even higher. So it was considerable and there was snow. I can see where any of them that may have been hanging out along the mountains but not going up the mountains came back down here for warmth and to get out of the wind at those higher altitudes. That's my guess. I don't know. But, if any of them pop up now, I'll take care of that. I'm ready. I also can't stay for too long this morning. I plan to have all day. And I was going to stay here for a bit, and then we just heard something. We plan on getting our groceries pick up in a couple hours. And that was Bonnie. Bonnie went, oh, no problem. I'll drop my car off, get the oil changed in the morning. I was like, yeah, totally makes sense. Pick up groceries, totally makes sense. While I'm out doing that, if you don't mind handling that, no problem. That makes sense. And it didn't even dawn on either of us until this morning. It's like, how am I going to get a grocery? How am I going to drive and go pick up groceries if I don't have my car? So now I'm going to go do it, which means I have a time slot. I can't just hang out for whenever. But that's cool. There's no worries. It's not like anything's been spectacular. There goes the sun again in between the clouds. So I am keeping a conscious eye on the time for when I have to be going. But we'll see. There's a chance. We might see some more mountain bluebirds. Although I'm kind of thinking they've already gone for the day. There it is. Red-tailed hawks are still here. Why am I talking? You can't hear me. All right. Oh, there you are. Oh. Let me get a picture of this. That's pretty cool. Red-tailed hawk. It's got to be both of them. I don't know if there's a male-female difference. I'll find out when I get back to the car and look. But that's what we have there, for sure. And I know this because the two of them are working together to build a nest. The male, maybe, he's much larger, so I assume so. Wow, you're just sitting right there. All right, hold on. I can't do both of these things at the same time. But like, sitting right there. Might be able to get a good shot from over here. Oh, no, you've turned the other way. All right. I'm starting to be a nuisance, so I'm going to move on. I mean, this trail is pretty busy, and they seem to be quite used to and not worried about the amount of people or dogs, but still. Yeah, so the hawks that I saw when I got here, I could tell one for sure was a red-tailed because it had the red tail. The other one's tail wasn't nearly as red, and I was trying to figure it out because it had a black stripe across the chest. Just one single one, and then the rest of the belly was white. But boy, they are both beautiful. And yeah, I was hearing them as I was walking down, and I definitely saw them. Oh, chasing off one of the starlings. And then I happened to see the smaller one of the two flying directly over my head, coming around. They're just hanging out in these branches. Those are bluebirds. Oh, those are bluebirds. A bunch of them just came back to this tree. Oh, there they go. All right, no, we'll talk. There's no light again. So that's cool. This is a common area. It's right there. It's very noticeable. I'll come back and watch the hawks at their nest. I'll ask the group if they know about that, if that's a regular spot that they do. They'll know about it because they're here all the time. If they'll know if those. Usually, that's one of the things. Like if there's a pair of large raptors nesting, they'll know whether or not they've been coming back to that area year after year, and if they've managed to raise any young or not. So that'd be a good chance for me to actually see like young hawks, babies as they are born in the next few months. We shall see. But yes, there is no light, and a bunch of bluebirds just came back. I saw a whole bunch landing on this group of trees right here, and then they slowly went off further down that way, a couple at a time. But yeah, they came back in a big number. I've seen probably 30 today. I'm not going to count those as different ones because they came from the direction where the other ones went before. So I think those are the same ones, and they're still going, but there's just no light. I can't get a picture of them. Different day with less clouds before they head up the mountain, I think, if I come back. And I've got plenty of time because I'll be on vacation over the next week. Something else I'm very much looking forward to with this, I hope. I don't know for sure, but it makes sense to me logically. The vest system is over both shoulders, around the front. I mean, it's a full vest that you put on. And this right now, all the weight from the camera pulls right here. And after a while, a couple hours of walking, my back starts to hurt. It's sore. All the weight pulling on one side specifically, so I'm hoping the vest will better distribute the weight and it'll be easier to walk for longer periods of time. It's definitely cold out there. Even with my, where are you? You slid all the way up. I got electric hand warmers. But even with all of that and the multiple layers I have on, it's cold. It's just very, very cold. So, that was great. Saw the mountain bluebirds. That's the first time I've seen them in a while. And the best chance we've had at taking pictures. I didn't expect them to come back, but maybe, I don't know, I'm just guessing here, but maybe the, when the sun goes fully behind all those dark clouds, they don't hang out there, they still retreat back and duck down, maybe? I'm not sure. So let's see, red-tailed hawk, I'm sure that's what it is, but was there any kind of, anything about it that would lead me to believe? No? Okay, that's interesting. They don't show anything like what I saw, which is interesting. I'm sure that the photos won't have come out too much because of the lack of light. But yeah, red-tailed hawk it's got to be, because it's got the red tail and the white stripe. There's a couple of them for the morphs that are the criters is rare and very, very pale, so that seems unlikely. But yeah, there's not one that I mean, for as pale as that smaller one was, my guess is the female.
Other way around. Sexual dimorphism. The female red-tailed hawk is larger than the male.
That's interesting, but none of them have that distinct what I saw, which was mostly white all over. There were the big one with the big red tail was much darker. It had red too about it. I got beautiful shots of that, I'm pretty sure, because it was just hanging out, pulling like bark off of trees and pecking around through that. And then the other one, the smaller, I assume female, unless it's got that, what was it called? I read about it.
Sexual dimorphism.
There are some birds that sexual dimorphism, maybe. There's some where it's just the opposite of what the majority of them are, and I think that, if I'm remembering correctly, I think that's where the females are larger than the males. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I kind of doubt it's a criter. It's just that all of these other ones, and I'm sure we're looking at the western, all of them have a fair amount to their color, or their dark spots all over the breast area. Splotchy. A belly band. And it really seemed like that smaller one was just all white and had like one streak all the way across. Just like a one clear streak with nothing else. It could be molting. It could be that the rest of them haven't come in yet. There's definitely some in here. White throat and breast. That one's probably the closest to what I'm seeing here. Borealis. Does it explain
what that means? No. Oh, eastern. That seems unlikely. Right? This far out? A lot of Morse, a lot of hard to tell, but I hope the pictures came out there, and then yes, at least we saw mountain bluebirds. That is a step in the right direction. I don't know for how much longer they are going to be here before they head up the mountain, and we will not get them down here anymore. And then I will have to go up the mountain in order to chase them up there. But I'm thrilled that we saw it. I at least got one picture that I think is kind of cool. If it came out, if it was in focus, there's so little light. It was very hard to tell. But as I was going, oh, is that one? Maybe the first one that I saw before they started taking off. Or actually, I think there were a couple that took off at first, and I saw them overhead and went, oh, that's what that is. And then I noticed there were some in the trees. I feel like there was one that had just stuck its little blue head out around the corner of the trunk of the tree where I was taking a picture of it. I definitely got some shots of them. I don't know how well none of them I can immediately, like that hawk, clear as day. That was great. I just assumed if it wasn't too dark, then everything came out the way I wanted it to. But I'm not 100%. We'll see, maybe. For sure, though, I feel like some of those hawks were clear. And the ones that weren't were the ones where I had to turn almost directly into the sunlight. So we'll have a silhouette of, like, you'll see the top of the female, I assume, head in the top of that nest there. That would be cool to come back and get some video of. It would be really cool if I come back and get some audio of the bluebird call, now that I kind of have a memory. It'll be gone by 2 hours from now. I'll forget what it sounds like. I'll just go, oh, okay, that's cool. I can't apparently retain bird calls until I hear them like 1,000,000 times. Like the flicker I know, the meadowlark I know, but they're so distinct. It's really easy to pick that out. I was listening out the window the other day at home, and I went, oh, are those house finches? Okay. And then I pulled out the phone and did Merlin to confirm myself, like, nope, that's a robin. Those are very different. They do not sound the same. Anyway, yes. Really cool, really good stuff. I'm glad I made it out, and I will be doing more, as I briefly mentioned while I was out there, assuming all of that worked with the mic and everything. I took a vacation. And I usually have been taking vacations in the 1 week period. For like when I take it, I don't take a day or two here. I save it up until, and I have enough, and then I take a full week off, and I kind of bookend it. So it's like I can do the weekend all the way through, do everything there. And I thought, well, I could do that. Or, hear me out, birdwatching group meets up every Wednesday that I can never go to because I have to work. If I take 5 days off and I do Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the following week, I never worked Monday anyway, that's why I'm out today, Tuesday, Wednesday, I can get 2 bird watchings in on Wednesdays and take 5 days off. So I did. So I'm off this Wednesday and next Wednesday, and that'll be good. I'm super looking forward to that. More bird watching trips. It's good. It's a good time. I think that's pretty much everything for sure. Maybe some of those mountain bluebird photos came out. If not, when I do the bird watching, at least currently, we don't meet up until a little bit later in the day. So it gives me a bit of time in the morning from sunrise for maybe an hour. I've done that a couple times now. So I can do that both Wednesdays at the very least, and then Saturday, and maybe come back out when, if possible, in between that. We'll see. No promises, but I'm going to try to squeeze in as much as I can. That vest will be here Wednesday, which unfortunately won't be here in time for me to go Wednesday morning and use it for the bird watching, because I don't think it'll be in until late Wednesday. But maybe. It's not the first time that I've ordered something from B&H and it's arrived a day early. It happens. It's rare, but it happens. It depends on the weather. And if there's a storm that just rolled through, I don't know what else is coming or going or anything, so we'll see. But yeah, good time. Didn't expect to see the hawks. Super glad I at least saw the mountain bluebirds. I was really afraid. Once I know where I'm going now, and I know the trail, and I notice what they sound like, and that they are different from the starlings, because that was the majority of what I was seeing in those trees, they're kind of easy to pick out. They're bright blue. So yeah, smaller, they fly a certain way, they sound a certain way. Not too hard once I figured that out. And I go, oh, okay. And you even, right there at the end, I was starting to record as I was walking back. And then it was now hold on, what's that there? Because they had all come back. There's probably 30 of them out there. They were going in groups of 5 or 6. And that first, 20, 30 minutes that I was walking, they were going, 5 or 6 at a time. That happened 5 or 6 times. So yeah, there was probably 30 of them. It's a pretty good amount. I'm happy about that. Quite happy. Woo! Time to edit those photos and see if any of them come out.
It's actually time to go get groceries. But anyway, bye, everybody.